Welcome to Bytes of Code. In this video we're going to be talking more about if conditions, the different types of things that we can use the if condition for, how we can compare, and also we're going to be talking about elif. And what's the difference between an elif and using just if conditions or if statements? What we have right now is a random number being generated. After that we ask the user for their guess, and then we do some comparisons. This is where we left off last time. But it's important to note when we do these comparisons, let's do an example by typing the number 9. It says we have guessed wrong. So we see 9 is the random number generated, and 9 is what we typed in, but it says that we have guessed wrong. And the reason for this is because the user guess is a different type of variable than random number. Random number is an integer, and user guess is a string. So we have to try to make sure when we are comparing that we are using the same variable type. Now, in order to quickly change a string to an int, we can just cast it, is what it's called. It's kind of converting it by using int. You would do this with string also. You would do str, open parentheses, put your variable in there, close parentheses, and now you have that converted or casted to a different type. Now when we put the number in, it says we have guessed correctly. I don't want to do this for every single if condition, so we can do a couple things. Let's do a user guess int equals a user guess converted or casted into an integer variable. Now we can use this user guess int in order to compare. You have guessed correctly. If you want to be even more efficient, you can change the variable type immediately right here after the input. This is technically a variable of a string, this line input. So we're just going to also wrap that in an int conversion. Now this user guess, if we use it again, will be an integer. Just to show again how this does not work, if it is a string, now user guess is a string, it says you have guessed wrong. So it's not really, it's saying that this is not equal. These aren't equal because they're different variables. They're different types of variables. This is a string, this is an integer. So that's why we've guessed wrong. But we're gonna let's use, just to make it less confusing, let's use our new variable user guess int. User guess int is a converted variable. It converts user guess, the string, into an integer. So now we're going to use user guess int. Let's do a couple more if conditions. We've done two of the more common conditions, that is equals equals. Equals equals will ask, is this equal to? So line number 16 is user guess int equal to my random number. Then in line number 18 we use not equal to. Let's see a good way for me to type this. There we go. Is this not equal to? So in line number 18 we're asking, is user guess int not equal to my random number? We're going to also learn greater than. Is this greater than? So if we were to incorporate that, let's add another if statement. If user guess int is greater than my random number, we're going to print or write to the user your guess is greater than. Your guess is greater than. Let's try this out. Type of number, we see our number is 23. Let's type 25, so we should have user guess wrong and user guess greater than. What Python's doing is checking this. The number is not equal to the random number, so we're not going to print you've guessed correctly. Then we're going to check this one. That's what Python's doing. The user guess int is not equal to my random number, so let's print this. You have guessed wrong. That's what we have here. And then we continue to check, is user guess int greater than my random number? And that's what we have here. Let's do another one. Python also has less than. So that would be, is my user guess less than the random number? If it is, then we're going to say your guess is less than. Along with greater than and less than, similar to math, you have a greater than or equal to. And also, because of this, you also have, is it less than or equal to? We're going to use both of these. We're just going to copy these two lines. Is it greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to? If it is, we'll say your guess is greater than or equal, or less than or equal. So let's run our program. Welcome to Guess My Number. Random number is 38. Type a random number. So let's see what happens when we type in a higher number, 50. It says we have guessed wrong. That's here. User guess is not equal to random number. We also have your guess is greater than. That is here. Our guess is greater than random number. And we also have our guess is greater than or equal to a random number. So we've hit 3 different if conditions. And let's type in 79. We've guessed correctly. Line number 20. We've also guessed greater than or equal to line number 28 because it is equal to. And also line number 30, our guess is less than or equal to a random number. So we've hit 3 different if conditions in this case also. But let's say that we only want to say one thing. We are going through every if condition, and we're continuing to print more and more, even though we don't really want to print your guess is greater than or equal or less than or equal if they get it right. So what we want to use is called elif. Elif is kind of short for else if. Else if is a pretty popular term for object-oriented programming. So instead of if, we're just going to do elif. Instead of if, elif. We're going to do that everywhere. It's important to note that in order to have an elif, you need to first have an if. We can't just have an elif by itself. We need to have an if condition first. So as long as you have an if condition first, then you can have another if condition as an elif. So in order to use an elif, you need first to have an if condition. Now we're going to run the program again, type in the correct number. It says you have guessed correctly, and that's it. Once this condition has been met, we print, and because all of these are elifs, we skip them because a condition has been met. Let's try this again. Let's do 71. Let's do 69. A less than number. In this case, we have you have guessed wrong, and we do not check the other greater than or less than conditions. So this is the difference between using an if condition and also using elif statements or conditions. So we want to do a couple things here. We want to also tell the user why they guessed wrong. And also we want to be able to let the user to continue to guess. We don't want the user just to have one guess and it be correct or incorrect. So this is going to be the end of our video for now. This would be the main area to focus on. These are just the different types of if conditions, the comparisons that we use for if statements. In the next video, we're going to talk about, again, how to tell if the user needs more information. We're going to use a Boolean, and we're going to also in the future use loops so that the user can get more guesses. But I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section, and I hope to see you at the next video.